Chanukah Sameach, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, as it is Christmas Eve as I record this, and it is the eve of the third evening of Chanukah. And when we travel through our neighborhoods, it would be difficult at this time of year to ignore the impact that light has on us. When we look at some fantastic and extravagant displays of lights on homes and in homes, and also modest displays of lights, even to one single candle radiating light out into the darkness. This is a beautiful illustration for how we need to be. As we kindle the Hanukkah this evening and we meditate on the birth of the light of the world, Yeshua the Messiah, we recognize how our life can bring more light into the world. There's a beautiful Hasidic tradition that some Orthodox Jews observe where rather than 2 candles on Shabbat, they light 1 candle for each member of the family in addition to those 2 candles, so that each member sees that because I'm alive, more light has been brought into this world. This is a beautiful teaching that comes from the Torah off of a simple word. And we read in Genesis chapter 1 and verse 3, Vayomer Elohim Yahi Or, Vayahi Or. And the Lord said, let light be, and light was. Vayar Elohim et ha'or ki tov, and the Lord saw that the light was good. Vayodel Elohim ben ha'or uvein ha'hoshek. So he separated, he made a distinction between light and darkness. Hanukkah began on the 25th of Kislev, as I've mentioned. And the rabbis find an interesting connection between Hanukkah, the festival of light, and the 25th word of the Torah, which is light. Or. And we find a connection to how we should be in this world. Because after all, we are made in the image and likeness of God, and as Imago Dei, as an image bearer of God, we should bring more light into this world. So how do we do that? Well, in this week's Torah portion of Miketz, Joseph gives us a wonderful example. As he uses his position as viceroy to set the stage for the salvation of the known world at the time, his brothers come to Egypt not knowing that he is the most powerful man in the land. And rather than using that as an advantage to destroy them, he actually uses it as a way to reconcile with them. As he tests them, have they been changed? Have they been changed at all, watching their father suffer all of these years, knowing what they have done to him? And of course he sees that they have. And as he uses his power, the thing that we witness and we pay most attention to is the act of forgiveness. He's seen that the Lord has actually used his desperation, his desperate times for the good of those around him. So he forgives his brothers because he knows that the Lord had a greater plan. In the Lord's Prayer and the disciples' prayer, we learn this. Forgive us our trespasses, O Lord, as we forgive those who have trespassed against us. Forgiveness dispels darkness. Forgiveness brings more light into the world as the darkness that surrounds a relationship or a group of people is pushed back, and the light of God and who he is as the reconciler, as the forgiver, as the way of salvation through his son Yeshua comes into play in our lives. The light is the darkness is confounded by the light. And that's one of the things that John says about the incarnation, that the light was the life of man, and it dispelled the darkness. It confounded the darkness. Darkness, the enemy, doesn't like reconciliation. It doesn't like hope. The enemy uses hopelessness and darkness as a weapon, as a tool, as a division between man. When God separated the light from the darkness in order that we as human beings can live in his light and be in a loving relationship with him and with the human other. And that's one of the most important things that we learn in this time of year. We can choose to walk in the way of light, which is walking in the way of Messiah and forgiveness and reconciliation. or we can continue to choose darkness. But I think we find much more hope in that single point of light. Even if we can only manage one little candle, one little point of light, we can dispel a great deal of darkness and pain and misery and heartache and bring in the beauty that shines from the light that was purchased and lit and brought into being by the Messiah. So friends, wherever you are, I pray that you choose the way of light, which is the way of Messiah in this season. Shabbat Shalom, Hanukkah Sameach, Merry Christmas, and God bless you all. Amen.